Hi friends, in this video we are going to talk about the biochemical assay of proline. So how are we going to estimate proline by acid ninhydrin method? So that is the reagent that we are going to use in this biochemical assay. Now before moving on to the actual protocol, why should we estimate the proline? So if you'd seen my previous videos of carbohydrate or proteins, I would have given a clear explanation of whenever we are doing stress physiology, stress related experiments, or whenever we are treating plant with any stress metabolite or any other chemical method, so there will be some stress for the plants to survive. So in order to survive, what they do, they release they produce excess of proteins and amino acid. One such stress indicator is called as proline. If you take any plants, let it be with stress conditions, or if you go to any farm and if you take a plant and if you estimate the proline content, if the proline is said to be in very high, if the proline produced is in very high quantity, that means the plants are undergoing some sort of physiological stress condition. It may be either nutrient deficient, or it may be drought, or it may be excess of water, flood stress. So there may be any type of stress or physiological disorder that is being happening. It may be some pathogen might have been attacked. So proline is a stress indicator. So if you given any stress to a plant, and if you want to know how much proline has been produced, to quantify the proline, we will use this method called as, it's a quantitative method called as acid ninhydrin method. So first let us see what and all are the chemicals that we require. The first very important chemical is 3% aqueous sulfosalicylic acid is very much important. So you get sulfosalicylic acid as a powder form. It's a chemical, you get it as a powder form. So you have to take 3 grams, add little bit of distilled water, dissolve it. It will quickly gets dissolved. You don't have to heat or you don't have to stir. As soon as you add sulfosalicylic acid in distilled water, it gets dissolved. Then make it up the solution to 100 ml. So what happens? You get concentration of 3% sulfosalicylic acid. Why are we using this? So if you see my other videos, I was talking about why do we use buffer to extract proteins, or why do we use HCl to extract carbohydrates. So I'll be giving you some principle behind it. So what we have to do is we have to take plant sample, 0.2 gram of plant sample and 10 ml of sulfosalicylic acid in pestle mortar, and we have to grind it. So what happens when you use plant material and sulfosalicylic acid? The proteins gets precipitated out. This sulfosalicylic acid, it makes all the proteins to come out, because I said proline we have to estimate it is an amino acid. So all the proteins we needs to be come out, and we don't need all of the carbohydrates, phenol to interact with our reaction. So we are just removing proteins from the plant source. So we are using this sulfosalicylic acid and we are grinding it. Nicely you have to grind it so such that all the cell gets broken and all the proteins are released out, and it forms a complex with sulfosalicylic acid. So this is the first step that we are going to do. After this, what we are going to do is we are going to take the solution that we have grinded into centrifuge tubes like this. Since it is 10 ml, you can take 15 ml or 20 ml centrifugation tubes you can take, and you're going to just give a centrifugation. So maybe 5000 or 6000 RPM you can run for 6 to 7 minutes. So all the cellular debris will form a pellets in the side walls of the centrifuge tubes. The side walls, the pellets will be formed. So you can see my carbohydrate video there, I've shown you how the pellets will be formed. So then we are going to collect the supernatant, because the supernatant solution will be having all the amino acids and all the proteins will be there. Now what we are going to do is we want only the proline to react with our reagent. There will be so many amino acids, tyrosine, tryptophan, all such things will be there. We don't want all the amino acids to react. So what we will be doing is we are going to add a very important reagent called as ninhydrin reagent. This is the second chemical, ninhydrin reagent, and very important thing, prepare ninhydrin reagent freshly and store it in dark amber bottles and use it within 24 hours. If you can't finish all the assays today, prepare today and use it by tomorrow. Store it in cold room. Store it below 4 degrees Celsius. Normal refrigerator, you can store it, and prepare freshly. And as ninhydrin reagent, how do we prepare this? So you need 3 reagents to prepare ninhydrin. This ninhydrin reagent is available in the market also, but it is a bit costly. So I prepared my own acid ninhydrin reagent. So you need ninhydrin powder. So you get ninhydrin powder, you have to take that, and you need glacial acetic acid and you need phosphoric acid. These 3 components if you have, you can prepare your own ninhydrin reagent and use it within 24 hours. So I took 1.25 grams of ninhydrin. It is a small purplish crystals, you will get ninhydrin crystals. So I took 1.25 grams of ninhydrin and I dissolved it with glacial acetic acid. So exactly 30 ml of glacial acetic acid. So this glacial acetic acid will have a strong pungent smell. Glacial acetic acid is a reagent. So you take 1.25 gram of ninhydrin, dissolve it with 30 ml of glacial acetic acid. So it takes a bit time. So you do add little by little and dissolve slowly. You have to stir properly to get dissolved. Heat it, don't boil it. Just slightly heat it. If it is not dissolving, don't boil it. So if you continuously stir, it gets dissolved. To that, you should add 20 ml of 6 molar phosphoric acid. So whatever phosphoric acid that is available in the market, that is commercially available, its normality is between 15 molar to 16 molar. You have to calculate again. For each brand will be having its own strength. So for my phosphoric acid, I got that strength as 15 molar to 16 molar I got. So take C1, V1 equals to C2, V2, and you can calculate how much is required for 6 molar. So you need 20 ml. So 30 ml of glacial acetic acid and 20 ml of 6 molar phosphoric acid and 1.25 gram of acid ninhydrin reagent. So if you mix all these things and dissolve slowly with continuous stirring, you will get acid ninhydrin reagent. So once this acid ninhydrin reagent is prepared, store it in cold room and use it very immediately. It has to be prepared freshly. So that is about your ninhydrin reagent. Next, now what we are going to do is, once we have used the sulfur-salicylic acid and we have got the solution, we are going to centrifuge it. We will collect the supernatant. So this supernatant will be having all the proteins and all the amino acids. So what we are going to do is, we are going to add equal amount of acetic acid. Again you're going to add, and again you're going to add ninhydrin reagent. So if I'm taking 200 microliters, if you have seen my other videos, I will be using all append-off tubes to conserve chemicals. So I don't do it in test tubes. So that is why all the chemicals are reduced in case of my protocol. So if you take ninhydrin reagent and if you take acetic acid, it should be equal. If you take 1 ml of acid ninhydrin, you have to take 1 ml of acetic acid. And at this low pH, the pH, because here also you are using acetic acid, here also you are using acetic acid, so the pH will reduce. At this low pH, what happens? The proline will react with this ninhydrin. Only the proline will react and it will form a colored solution. Now after this, you are going to keep it in water bath, boiling water bath for 1 hour you are going to keep. So whenever you are doing this extract, switch on the water bath and add water and make sure it is in boiling condition. So once you add, so in my case, I'm going to add 200 microliter of ninhydrin reagent. I'm going to take 200 microliter of acetic acid, and I'm going to take some 100 microliter or 200 microliter of the plant extract after centrifugation. All this I'm going to take it in the in the append-off tube, and I'm going to place it in boiling water bath. So for 1 hour I'm going to place it. Nice bright reddish color will be formed after 1 hour. That indicates the proline, presence of proline. Next, what you're going to do, you're going to immediately place this append-off or test tube or whatever you're using, you're going to immediately place it in ice. That is to arrest the reaction, because when you keep in water bath, all the proline will react with the acid ninhydrin and it forms a red colored reaction. You should arrest the reaction or else it will be continuously forming. So all other proteins also might be coming and forming this red color complex. So after 1 hour, take a jar like this, place all the ice cubes or ice pack if you have, for example, and if this is my ice tube and if this is my reagent, after 1 hour, immediately place it in ice. So when you're placing it immediately in ice, what happens? All the reaction gets arrested. Now to this, you're going to add double the volume of toluene. Toluene is an aromatic organic compound. Very fragrant smell you will get whenever you're using toluene. So you're going to add 400, double the volume. So because I added 200 microliter of ninhydrin, right? So I'm going to take double the volume, 400 microliter. That is nothing but 0.4 ml of toluene if I add. So and toluene and these reagents, they do not get mixed. It is like oil and water. So if I add a drop of oil in water or water in oil, what happens? 2 layers get separated, right? They will not get mixed together. So same thing happens. As soon as you add toluene, all that where this proline is there, it gets reacted, it forms red color, right? They will be separated and you can find 2 different layers. The reddish layer you can find in the upper, and lower all the reagents that we use will be there. So the upper layer is called as chromophore layer because it will be bright red, beautiful red color. I will show you. Beautiful red color layer will be found. Since it is an organic compound, these are all non-organic solvents. So what will be happening? 2 different heterogeneous compounds, 2 different heterogeneous layer will be formed. Carefully you should pipette out only the upper toluene layer. The upper toluene will be reddish in color, and carefully you are going to pipette out the upper toluene into the microplate, that ELISA plate, and then we are going to take absorbance. So the absorbance will be taken at 520 nanometer. So just before pipetting it out, you're just going to give vortex it, and when you do vortex, what happens? All the proline will be accumulated in the upper toluene layer. So carefully you're going to pipette out only the upper toluene, and you're going to take absorbance at 520 nanometer. So this is all the entire protocol for the estimation of proline by acid ninhydrin method. So I have taken 0.2 grams of my plant sample I have taken over here, and I have taken 10 ml of sulfur salicylic acid. So now we'll grind it and we'll make a paste. So add little by little and grind it properly. So 2 to 3 ml you can keep it. At last to wash this pestle and mortar and transfer to centrifugation tubes. And also the plant material should be fresh. You can't dry the plant material and use that for proline estimation. It's preferable to use the fresh plant specimens. So leaf or root or stem, whatever you're working out with, try to collect the fresh samples and do it. So just for an analysis, you can take 2 plant samples, 1 healthy sample and 1 infected sample. And if you do like this for your project work or for any research work, so the infected plant material will be having high proline content. So there is an indication that plant is undergoing some sort of biotic stress since some infection has occurred. So you can take 1 healthy sample and 1 infected sample to see the difference in the proline content. Same material itself, for example, if you're doing with chili, take 1 healthy chili plant and 1 infected chili plant and see the proline. So in the infected plant, the proline contents will be very high. So take the fresh material and grind it properly using this aqueous sulfur salicylic acid of 3%. So now I'll be transferring it to an centrifugation tube. I will transfer it. So I have transferred everything to here. Just another 2 or 3 ml is left out. So whatever is there in this pestle and mortar, I can just rinse that with this and add it same here. So nowhere you can see the plant. I have grinded it so well. So always do it in triplicates whenever you're doing any experiment. So like this, I will do for all the plant samples. I will take after taking centrifugation, I'll collect the supernatant and then I will show you how to proceed with. So now after centrifugation, we have collected the supernatant. So you can see if you centrifuge how the pellets are formed in the cross walls of the centrifugation tube. You can find the pellets. So this is the cellular debris that which we are not supposed to take. So without any shaking, we have to transfer this clear supernatant. So we have to avoid this pellets, cell wall debris and all the other debris will be there in this pellet. So we will transfer this supernatant into the test tube. So carefully without mixing the cell debris, you have to transfer only the supernatant. So like this I have done for all other samples. You can find here the clear solution is there, the supernatant we have collected. So from this supernatant of all these samples, we are going to pipette out 200 microliter. So this is for the microplate reading. So if you are doing this test tube, you can pipette 2 ml accordingly. So you can convert into whichever ratios you feel like it's comfortable for you. Since I'm doing in the append of tube, only less amount of sample is required. So I'm pipetting out 200 microliters of each sample. So since I'm doing in triplicates, so 200 microliter in 3 append of tubes I have taken. So I have pipetted 200 microliter samples in all the append of tube. Now I'm going to pipette 200 microliter of acetic acid, glacial acetic acid. So it should be quantity if you're taking 200 microliter of plant sample, 200 microliter of acetic acid and 200 microliter of acid ninhydrin. So all should be of same quantity. So it will have a strong pungent smell, this acetic acid. So the reaction will occur in the acidic condition. The pH will be around somewhere around 1. So to bring the pH, we are using the strong acid like acetic acid. So after this, we will just give a quick spin using the cyclomixer. So after mixing all the components, now we are going to add acid ninhydrin, which is a very important reagent for this reaction to occur. So we have taken the plant extract, equal amount of glacial acetic acid, and now we are going to add ninhydrin reagent. So this ninhydrin reagent can be prepared in lab itself, or it can be taken from the market also. So same, this also 200 microliter. So now after adding ninhydrin reagent, again we are going to mix it again all the components, and then we are going to keep it in water bath for 1 hour. So I have mixed all the components. Now you can see there is no color developed in any of the sample, but after keeping in water bath, the amino acid that we are estimating, proline, will react with this acid ninhydrin and will form a red color layer. So that we are going to separate using the towelling. So for the reaction to occur, we are going to place this in water bath. So this is a stand for the append of tubes. We'll keep it in this stand and we are going to keep it in boiling water bath for 1 hour. So you can see I have placed the append of tubes in the boiling water bath. We will leave it here for 1 hour for the reaction to occur, and we need ice bath so that immediately to arrest the reaction. So friends, we have kept this for incubation for 1 hour. Now the incubation has been over. Immediately I am placing it over the ice pack. So here I have the ice pack kept in the trays to arrest this reaction, whatever has occurred so far, for some 3 to 4 minutes until it comes to the room temperature. I am going to place it in this ice pack. So you can see here the tray is filled with ice. So I placed it here to arrest the reaction. So friends, if you see the seed has got a nice orange color, that means that indicates the seed is having the proline content. So you can see so beautifully orange color you can see. But when you compare this with the leaf, it is very less. So you can see this is leaf, but still a slight tinge of orange is there. That indicates proline is present, but not in very high quantity. So proline, when you compare the seed and leaf, you can see leaf quantity is very much less. And stem is having even more lesser, but still very slight tinge of orange you can find. And root doesn't have any amino acid. It is a bit of transparent. So out of all these 3 parts, root, stem and leaves and seed, from seeing the color, we can come to know that seed is having the highest amino acid content, that is with respect to proline content. So now we are going to add 400 microliters of towelin. So double the amount we are going to add towelin. So as soon as you add towelin, you can find 2 different layers you can find. So 400 microliters of towelin, and then I'm going to give an thorough mixture. We are adding mainly toluene to remove the colorful layer. So there is only 2 layers you will get after adding this toluene. So only one layer which is having that reddish color will be having proline. So to make the absorbance easier, we are adding this organic solvent. See, after adding this, you can find 2 distinguished layers. You can find the upper layer and the lower layer. So we are going to give this a mix in the vortex, and then we are going to allow it to settle down. So I'll just show you once. So when I give this mixture, what happens? All the components gets thoroughly mixed, and only that component which is having that red layer will come up. So now you can see there is a uniformity there. You will allow it to settle down. Leave it for a few minutes, and then I will show you the distinguishing between 2 layers. So friends, after giving it vortex, just leave it for 5 minutes. You can find beautiful layer separation. Can you see the upper pinkish layer? That is called as the chromophore layer because that is colored, and it is the toluene that is having. So similarly here also very slight pinkish you can see, but in seed so beautiful layer you can find. We are going to pipette out carefully only the upper layer without disturbing the lower ones. So that is the real challenge over here. You don't have to mix, don't have to touch the lower layer. Just pipette out the upper pinkish layer. You can see such beautiful color you have got. So this indicates the presence of proline. So how much proline is present quantitatively? We are going to quantify using the standard graph method. So I have taken the microplate over here, and 200 microliter I am going to hold because this can hold only up to 300 or 350. So carefully I am going to pipette out only the upper layer. So don't touch the lower layer, just take some 200 microliter or so. So like this I am going to do for all the samples, and I am going to take the absorbance at 520 nanometer, and I will show you that. So friends, now you can see how beautiful pink layers I have got to estimate the proline. So I'm going to keep in this microplate reader, and I'm going to take the absorbance at 520 nanometer. You can do it with cuvette also using spectrophotometric method. You can do it. So it is at 520 nanometer. I'm setting the nanometer. Enter. So here I'm going to change it to 520. You can see 520 I have set. Enter. Then I'll go back. Here it shows me 520 nanometer. So when I press start at a stretch, I will get my readings. So you can see readings has been occurring over here at 520 nanometer, and I will get the readings over here. So since I'm going to do it triplicates, I'm going to take the another reading. And very important thing that I want to say you is whenever you're using such sheets, make a photocopy of this or write the values in some other sheet, because after a few days the ink will go off and you can't read the values. So I'm getting my second absorbance also, and once more I'm going to take, that is the triplicate. So yeah, I was saying you all this ink will disappear after a few days or few months. So if you're not maintaining it properly, take an immediate photocopy or write down these values in some book manually. So after 2-3 months, if you search the values, then you can't see all these things. Everything would have been disappeared. So I've got my final absorbance also, 3 readings I've got. Using this, I'm going to plot the standard graph, and the unknown value I'm going to find out. So how to plot standard graph, all those things I've taught in the carbohydrate video estimation. Please do go and check those videos to get a rough idea how to plot standard graph and how to detect the unknown values from the standard graph. So if you like this video, give a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and do share with your friends. Thank you.